Welcome to the PT Marketing Power Hour, highlighting successful marketing strategies from North America's fastest growing clinics so you can learn from their wins and power your practice growth. We have another great episode today, so don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, here's your host, physical therapist, marketing expert, and CEO of Practice Promotions, Neil Trickett.
Hello, and welcome to the PT Marketing Power Hour, highlighting successful strategies from North America's fastest growing clinics so you can learn from their wins and power your practice growth. I'm your host, Neil Trickett, CEO of Practice Promotions, and today's focus, we're going to talk about how to 10x your insurance reimbursements and how you can really increase your profitability here over the next 3 years. We're joined by our guest today, none other than Dimitrios Kostopoulos. Great to have you on here, Dimi.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you for having me in your podcast today, and thank you for everything you are doing for our profession.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Dimi is, if you've never met him, he is a whiz, and he has an incredible background. He's a successful PT, a doctor, multiple business owner, co-founder of hands-on companies. He's board certified in clinic electrophysiology, over 35 years of clinical experience. And he's also the co-founder of Hands-On Physical Therapy, which is a customer of ours, and we help them with their practice up in New York area. So, Demi, thank you for coming on here. I love to always pick your brain. You have a lot of great insight here and what you're doing for the profession and for lots of businesses across the U.S. So let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about what you're seeing out there with practices that you interact with in their businesses. So, in your opinion, what would you say is the biggest challenge that physical therapists are facing today?
I'll get to that, but first, let me just tell you that every time you're introducing me on this segment of your program, and you get to the point to say 35 years of experience, that is a little bit too revealing for my age. But what can I do? It reflects the reality of things. So.
It's the wisdom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
All right. So the biggest challenge, right? There are several challenges that the profession is facing right now. I mean, if I asked the viewers or listeners right now who is having a recruitment issue, I can tell you that 90% of the listeners will raise their hand right now. And if you are driving, please don't attempt to do that because some of you would raise both of your hands if you are desperate for recruitment. Also, PTs getting out of school, they are walking away with a huge student debt. That is another major issue. And that worries a lot of students and makes physical therapy a field challenging to repay back the hundreds of thousands of dollars that some PTs have to borrow. However, we can create lists and lists of challenges. The number one challenge, though, that PTs have right now is the financial value of their physical therapy services. How society values financially the physical therapy services, how the insurance industry values the physical therapy services. Mm-hmm. When, for example, somebody is willing to pay their hairdresser $100+ for a haircut and whatever else they do there, and a physical therapist accepts as a payment $50, $60, $70 as a reimbursement, as payment, there is something wrong with this picture, you know?
No doubt.
So yes, so the the financial value of physical therapy services is the number one issue that we have as a profession right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And gosh, I mean, when I was in practice, and I'll date myself here, 15, 20 years ago, that would really, aggravate me when you would get certain insurance companies pay you so little, and yet there's the massage, people go for massage or get paid for massage twice as much, right? So again, I see what you're saying there. It really does come back to knowing the value of our services. That's one thing I also remember talking to a lot of clinic owners about too, is that you have to know your own value, right? So what insurances are you willing to take that compare to that value? And we fall into the trap sometimes of like, I need to get those referrals from that doctor, right? And in order to do that, I'm going to have to take some of those patients with those lower insurances from him, right, in order to get the other better paying insurance patients from him too. So we get into this trap sometimes of having to work with the bargain basement type insurances, and then we suffer financially because of that, because we don't know the worth of our value. So you got to really know, hey, what do I really need to be making here to be not only breaking even, but you need to have a certain profitability for stability and financial stability in your practice, right? And so looking at that, what are some things that you have been able to do to overcome that in your own practice, right? And with the hands-on companies?
So, Neil, it has to do with the model. It has to do with the model of practice that we have created. Okay, for giving a little history to people who they may have not heard me speaking before, myself and my business partner created our first physical therapy practice in 1992 in New York. And from 92 to 98, we expanded tremendously, creating 13 physical therapy clinics, servicing more than 3,000 patients in a weekly basis. So a sizable practice.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2002, we received the letter that changed everything. It was a plague and a blessing at the same time. In November of 2002, it was the day before Thanksgiving, we received a letter from Blue Cross Blue Shield giving us an ultimatum that they were decreasing physical therapy reimbursement from $140 down to $55 flat rate per session.
Wow.
And it was take it or leave it. We had to make a decision and accept it or walk away from the network within the next few weeks. And what followed was Aetna cutting the rates from $112 a session down to $60. Oxford United Healthcare cutting the rates from around $90-something down to $55, and so on and so forth. Wow. So New York State insurances, in a period of a year, they end up reducing the rates by more than 50%.
Yeah, it's almost a third in some of those cases. That's insane.
Yeah, exactly. So at that time, and having 13 facilities, 147 staff members, and a payroll of more than $250,000 every 2 weeks, we had to come up with some very quick solutions. And thank God, we had implemented in our practice much earlier. Since 1996, I did my very first EMG test on patients. And when we did the whole financial analysis, we discovered that diagnostic testing, like electromyography testing, it was not decreased, it was not cut, it was paying multiple times more than physical therapy. And we made a business decision to pay more attention in the integration of diagnostic testing within our practice. We discovered significant clinical and significant financial benefits from it. And right now, our model in our existing practices and in the new practices we put together is that from day one, when we open a new practice, we incorporate EMG and MSK ultrasound services along with physical therapy services.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's so, you think it's so revolutionary, right? But it's been around for quite a while, right? And we just haven't really incorporated it into the physical therapy profession. But and you're the expert on this. Do most state practice acts allow therapists to do those kind of things?
I'll answer to that, but before, let me just take advantage of something that you said and tell you that in 2013, our organization, Hands-On Diagnostics, conducted a nationwide study. We hired actually a surveying agent. It's called Target Research. And they conducted a survey of hundreds of physical therapists around the country. So here are the results. 97% of physical therapists had no idea that PTs can perform, can bill insurance, and get paid for EMG and ultrasound testing. So, wow. And in regards to practice acts, yes, except of a couple of states, like the state of New Jersey, there is an issue. There is a limitation in the state of Michigan, as well as a partial limitation in the state of Michigan. And there is a partial limitation in the state of Hawaii. Otherwise, the practice acts either explicitly state that PTs can perform these tests, or they are totally silent, wow, which indicates that they can.
So there's that potential, right? We've had this ability for a long time. It's there in what we're allowed to do. Obviously, we'd have to get trained in doing that, but you know, what an incredible value add to our care, and what an incredible opportunity to create stability and financial, you know, growth in our practice, right? And I've asked my our listeners out there, you know, do you see insurances paying more or less for regular care, right? I think everybody agrees that they're kind of flat, or they're going to pay less for you know, regular care. So we've seen that across the board. I remember back in the day, first starting out as a PT, you know, hot packs used to be covered quite a lot, right? So everybody got hot pack, or, you know, cold pack. That's what the billing worked out. That went away, right? And we see, you know, E-stim, right, and ultrasound used to get paid a lot more. That got decreased, right? So you know, the way that things have gone is that it's focused on more expensive care. And we look at even the hospital models and the physician models, they pay, it's weird, right? We pay more for these testing and more of the technologies, right, than some of the basic care. I don't see that changing in the future.
And you asked the question, how many people think that perhaps reimbursements will go up? And I'm gonna reveal this to you. I was attending just a couple of weeks ago the Graham sessions. This is an event that the private practice, it's a closed door event actually, that the private practice section of the APTA puts together every year. There's a very limited number of people that attend the event. The top executives of large and small physical therapy organizations participate. And although we're not allowed to share names or specific comments, we're allowed to share general concepts and principles discussed in this meeting. So at some point, one of the panelists asked the audience, about 150 people in the audience, how many of you believe that insurance reimbursement is going to go up, at least to meet inflationary changes? Guess how many hands went up? Zero.
Right.
Nobody raised their hand.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? As a as a practice owner, you are a business owner, right? And the minute that you went into business for yourself, you became an entrepreneur. I always say that you became an entrepreneur. You're no longer just a physical therapist or occupational therapist or speech therapist, whatever you may be. You are a business owner. You're an entrepreneur, right? So you have to think like an entrepreneur. And if you put all your eggs in one basket, where you're relying maybe just on, one or two key insurances, if you're relying on one or two key doctors for referrals, you're putting your business, things might be good now, but you painted a really good picture there, Demi, of what can happen overnight, right? You could have a serious impact on your business from changes in those insurance company policies, right? Or I had an experience when I was first starting out in practice that 50% of my business came from a neurologist. And one day he stopped sending, and I was concerned. I thought a patient had complained, but he said, "Sorry, Neil. We brought in a physical therapist into our clinic, and we're seeing all our patients in house now." So there, 50% of my business went away overnight because I put all my eggs in one basket with physician referrals. And if we do the same thing with one or two key insurances, and we see a lot of those kind of patients, it seems good in the now, but it sets you up for possible problems in the future. So the same thing here, right? If we're just looking at, we just continue to deliver the same type of care all the time and don't think outside of the box, right? And that's what we have to do in today's business world, is we have to think outside the box. What can you be adding into your practice that's going to bring more financial stability to your business, right? And allow the patients and the people within your business to have more opportunities, right? And that's going to be different, cash-based services. It's going to be, specialty services like diagnostics. That's really a cool thing that's happening now. So there are these other things that you can be looking at outside of your norm, right? And allow you to elevate your game and also create more financial stability. So, Demi, can you help me understand, what you do to help practices with diagnostic tests? Because it's probably a little unfamiliar to quite a few practices and what's offered.
I will, but I want to make a comment or validate something that you said about looking at what can you bring in your practice in terms of services that you offer. That at this point, when someone makes a decision to learn something new, to bring something new in their practice, that decision has to be a dual decision. One, how this will benefit patients, our public, and how this will add dollars into the practice. So, for example, let's say that someone who is already very familiar with various manual therapy techniques, right? They decide to go and spend, I don't know, $8,000, $10,000 to learn a new manual therapy approach, which is fantastic. But when you put it down into the financial sense of that decision, whether you do a Maitland, a Syriacs, a Stanley Paris, a Kaltenborn, any kind of manual therapy approach, you'll still bill 97140. You are bound to that same code. No matter if you buy a gazillion of machines in your practice, you're going to bill 97110 and maybe 97112 for these type of exercises or proprioceptive training.
Yeah.
So in physical therapy, we are bound within a specific universe of codes. So when we make a financial investment to learn a new skill that will bring to our practice, we have to see how that will change, how that will aid financially our practice too. So what do we do with HATS and how we help people learn and bring into these diagnostics into their practice? This is not like a continuing education course. Continuing education course, you go to a class, you take a class, you learn something, and then you say goodbye, and you are on your own to figure out how to apply this. This is more of a working relationship. We partner with you in a specific way where we help you learn the entire clinical know-how. We have very, very specific mentorship programs. We have a residency and a fellowship program, mentorship programs, where we teach you not only the clinical know-how of EMG testing, MSK ultrasound, even vestibular testing, but also we teach you the business aspect of it. And we help you establish this diagnostic testing business that runs in parallel with your physical therapy practice. And then we help your business expand. So that's what we do. It's not just continuing education. It is like really working hand in hand with you to help you develop this, I call it the from zero to hero program, right? We help you to start from not knowing diagnostics at all, not knowing how to develop this practice, to developing a very, very successful practice.
That's awesome. And so for those of the people that are listening out there, I've had the pleasure of going to some of the events that Dimi's hosted for this group, and I was absolutely astounded with the level of clinical care and knowledge that these PTs had attained, and what they were doing in their practice. To me, it was like revolutionary, right? And so what I really love about this is it takes our ability to treat patients to a whole new level, right? Because how many times are we evaluating, let's say, a shoulder, and we think that there might be a rotator cuff tear, and we have certain tests that we'll do to kind of confirm our suspicions, right? And then we're gonna do a certain treatment plan according to what we think the possible issue is within the shoulder there, but we still we don't know. And so we're like, you know what, maybe you should go get an MRI for this, or maybe you should go get some more further testing just to rule some things out. What's cool here is that I've seen is that the PTs will actually have a diagnostic ultrasound right there, and they're going over the shoulder, and in real time they're seeing, hey, you know what, you actually have a partial tear here of your supraspinatus, right? And that's like amazing. So okay, I'm going to adjust what I'm doing here. Maybe this requires a referral, or maybe it's something I just have more knowledge now. I can make the right kind of right kind of plan of care for that. So it was really amazing to see that. And then so that's the diagnostic ultrasound part of it. So imagine that experience also for a patient and what they're going to say to other people because they came into this clinic. Hey, my PT actually was able to look with an ultrasound and see, I had this particular issue, my joint or, my shoulder or my back or whatever it is. And then that made them make a smarter decision. Guess what? You're going to be one of the premier places that people want to go to. And then also there's the electric diagnostic, right? The electromyography. And that was so impressive to me when I saw therapists doing this. So again, it was really what I was able to gather from that is that they were able to do the testing to determine what specific area that they needed to work on. So if it was a particular nerve that was impacted in the leg, now they know what segment to work on. Are they going to work on something in the leg, or is it going to be something that I need to work on in the back? And it really improves the results. And Dimi, you got some great stats around improvement of efficacy, right, in care, which is a big thing. So, having this in your practice, it takes your care to a whole new level. It's, for me as a marketer, it's a whole new way of marketing your practice, right? That makes it shine like no one else can in the area. And then the beauty also is that you're able to bill for these things in a totally different way than what we're used to doing. And obviously that helps from a financial standpoint. So Dimi, can you expand on that a little bit and help our audience really understand like what these tools are and techniques that you teach into their practice?
Yeah. So first of all, looking at looking at the electromyography testing, right? Electromyography testing, a study that was published in January of 2020, identified that was over 462 patients, identified that close to 62% of patients who received an EMG test, their patient management changed because of the results we received from diagnostic testing. So there's a tremendous benefit to that. Same thing, and around same percentages are with MSK ultrasound. So the physical therapist then can no longer service the failed PT industry. What is that? Now, an orthopedic surgeon wants to send a patient for an MRI. They try to get approval from the insurance company. What does the insurance company say? Well, send the patient for a few sessions of PT, and when PT fails, then we're going to approve that MRI. No. When the patient comes to our practice, a specific percentage of patients who are properly qualified, they are receiving either EMG or MSK ultrasound testing. And that provides us with data where we can say right now, no, I can see inside this patient's body right now, and this patient should not receive physical therapy at this moment. I send that patient back to the physician to do a rotator cuff, or I say, okay, yes, we can perform physical therapy and should perform physical therapy. And this is how physical therapy has improved the condition so many sessions down the line. So the data we obtain help the patients and the patient care tremendously.
Yeah, I saw it. I was totally blown away, and I saw that. And so, what we've identified is that as business owners, as practice owners, we need to do something different in today's economy, today's world, right? We have to change with the times. We have to go to a whole nother level with our practice, right? Diagnostic ultrasound and diagnostic, EMG, just it takes your practice to a whole new level. And it makes sense, and you're able to deliver even more care to the patient, right? So it's sort of a no-brainer that this is a direction that you can definitely go in your practice that will incredibly improve patient care. Let's talk here a little bit about the financial benefits to our practice, because you're talking about different codes that we can bill. So what does that look like for financial improvements in a practice?
Okay, so yes, it is the difference between a single physical therapy visit and a diagnostic testing visit is day and night. So I can only give you right now national averages so that people can make sense of this, right? So the national average for a single physical therapy visit that lasts about an hour is $97. This is from the APTA's private practice section peer-to-peer benchmark study. $97 is the average physical therapy visit across the nation. The average reimbursement for an EMG test across the nation is about $500. And the average reimbursement for an MSK ultrasound, usually 2 units, is $200. So within an hour of diagnostic testing, the physical therapist can perform an EMG and a neuro ultrasound, and within that hour can capture about $700, which is 7 times more than a single physical therapy visit, which is the equivalent, let's say, that they do 1 hour session of diagnostics would be as if they did 7 physical therapy sessions.
Wow.
So that's the difference. And I mean, we can do the math of reimbursement for, let's say somebody has a small practice right? And usually in a practice, we see that about 40%, 35 to 40% of the patients are qualified candidates to receive an EMG. And when it comes to the combination of MSK ultrasound and neuro ultrasound, it's about 70% of the practice. Some practices is bigger number, but let's say around 70% of the patients. So this brings pretty much an equation where if 5 patients per week got to receive these tests in a very conservative state, in a very conservative calculation, 5 patients times $700 per patient, that would yield $3,500 per week. Wow. That's almost $15,000 a month. That's like close, just under $200,000 a year for a small practice that they will do only 5 patients per week. Mm-hmm. So then you do the math for bigger practices.
Yeah, it's really a no-brainer from the financial aspect, right? And of course, we're always looking at what's best for the patient first, and it makes sense to know what you're treating, right? So this is a tool that helps you understand what you're treating. And let's face it, when patients come in, they want to know what's going on, right? And the more that you can clearly show them, hey, this is what is going on with your body, they're going to build much more confidence that you're the right solution for them, right? Yeah. So that's such a key thing there. I'd love to show everybody here just a really short video. It's like a 1-minute video here, but it really helps you see what this is about, right? And what you can do with your practice here. And then we'll talk about where you can guys get some more information on this. But let me just share my screen here. So let's just
see inside your body, pinpoint the source of your pain, and speed up recovery time. Now you can with diagnostic testing and physical therapy. Advanced nerve testing and muscle ultrasound testing allow your physical therapist to quickly and accurately find the true source of your pain. No more wasting time to see if treatment works. No more guesswork. Your physical therapist will see your problem in real time and create a treatment plan that is proven to be 62% more effective than standard physical therapy. Ask your physical therapist if they offer this cutting-edge service or locate an approved diagnostic center near you at findbestpt.com.
That's so cool.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about this if you don't mind. So this is a part of a larger strategy that we're implementing. The first several years of our company of hands-on diagnostics, we put a lot of marketing dollars to educate the physical therapist about the possibilities of this service, about the possibilities of where they can take their career, their practices, and how they can reach that next level. So we put a lot of money in promotion and advertising so that we can increase the awareness of the physical therapy profession. Now we're shifting a bit gears and we are putting a lot of marketing dollars directly into the public, educating the public that a physical therapist, when properly trained, they can perform these tests that can offer more than 62% better outcomes to their care. So you're going to see a lot more of this right now as we go now directly to the public to increase the public's awareness about the potential that the physical therapist has.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. And, we have the pleasure of working with Dimi and hands-on physical therapy in New York, and also different clinics that Dimi's trained and helping them with their marketing. And it's so cool to be able to really promote this in their website and in their emails and newsletters and things like that, because it's such a unique thing it's like advanced technology, right? It's taking things to a whole new level. So the one thing that I've always found is the clinics that have multidiscipline in their practices, that offer different things, that offer more collaborative type services, more advanced type technologies. Those are the ones that do better, because as a patient, you want to go to the best place in town, right? And you want to go where they've got all kinds of things that could possibly help you, right? And so this is it's sort of not only improving patient care, it's improving financial stability, but it's also a great marketing avenue in your practice. And can you speak to that side of it a little bit, Demi, in terms of what you see in practices from a marketing perspective?
So first of all, I will tell you that you guys have done, Practice Promotions has done an amazing job in helping us incorporate these type of services within our website and our marketing campaigns that you guys have been helping us with. You have brought in the diagnostic testing front and center in our practice and our website exposure, and you have very intelligently integrated these services, the presentation of these services through our marketing for our practice. So you have done a fantastic job. And yes, what we see that when practices are able to show to their audiences effectively that they're not just doing PT that everybody else does, that they have a unique proposition for their audience, something different. And when that unique proposition is properly showcased through their marketing materials, then that can make a huge difference. And I know that lots of the HUD's members are using your services, they're using Practice Promotions, and they're very successful. You see practices where within their first year of operation, they make $250,000 just from diagnostic testing services. And after a couple of years, they hit the $500,000+ mark just from diagnostic services, because they are properly featured and properly marketed to their publics out there. So
Yeah,
you guys are doing a fantastic job.
Oh, thanks.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's great to be part of that whole journey. And again, I love what you're doing for the profession, for the patients, and it's just it's amazing to just be partnered with you. If you get a chance, you can check out the Demi's physical therapy website, which is handsonpt.org. You can check out their website, what they're all about there. And then if you want to learn more about what they do as a hands-on company, so look up handsoncompanies.com. You can learn more about how to grow your practice, how these things would incorporate. They've done this with hundreds of practices and going fast, right? There's a lot of people joining, which is pretty cool to see. So I think this is a revolution here that's going to start to, gain momentum as this flywheel spins up, taking the profession in kind of a whole new direction here, which is really exciting. And I love that, you're spearheading that. So, kudos to you and Kostas for all that you're doing here.
Thank you, Neil. I appreciate it. And thank you for helping us achieve many of our goals. So that's really awesome.
Any parting words here for our group here?
Well, here is the bottom line. Things in life, in business, in anything, they don't stay stagnant. Either they go up or they go down. Okay, so if you do nothing about things in life, if you don't do nothing to improve your conditions in life, whether we're talking about business conditions or personal conditions in life, then things will be going down, because the universe expands, life expands. If you don't do it, somebody else will do it. If you don't do it, your competitor will do it. So you have to keep looking constantly and evolve yourself, evolve your practice to the new ideas, to the cutting edge things of the future. You have to create the future. By the way, that's the best way to predict it too. So really, whether it is hands-on diagnostics, whether it is something else, my only advice is just do something, expand, change, welcome the future.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Sage advice. I told you about that wisdom there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, awesome. So again, thank you, Demi, so much. Remember, guys, just think outside the box, right? There's a lot of opportunities out there. This is an incredible opportunity in practices. I do encourage you to take a look at it. You can do something different in your practice, right? That's also going to benefit patients. It's going to benefit your clinicians. It's going to benefit your financial stability. Lots of opportunities. I've seen this success with quite a lot of friends and practice owners that I know that are now doing this. It's really cool. So check out handsoncompanies.com. Get a lot more information there. Connect with Dimi and his group. He'll get you more information about what they do to help practices with diagnostic ultrasound and EMGs in their practice. So Dimi, thanks so much for being on with us and our audience today. I really appreciate your words of wisdom there and helping us understand this possibility for the future.
Thank you so much, Neil, and keep doing the great job you're doing.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thanks again for joining us today. Be sure to check out practicepromotions.net/power. There, listeners can download over 9 checklists and free resources made to coach you through simple, proven marketing actions to increase new patients. So check it out today. That's practicepromotions.net/power, and I'll see you next time.